Welcome to the first episode of Flamez On. I'm your host, Flames, and every week I'm going to bring you the latest news in sports and entertainment, while time to time touching on politics and religion. But above all else, this is going to be a space where we will have candid, authentic, judgment-free conversations about the trials and tribulations we face while living life on life terms. So please help us grow and strengthen our community by selecting like and subscribe. I promise you, our appreciation will be unmeasured. So, to get started, what I wanted to talk about, the first topic I wanted to talk about tonight was something that I noticed. It's kind of a trend that I noticed that's been going on social media. So, I was looking and I noticed the rapper Cameron, Cam. I noticed he's been getting in quite a bit of beef with a lot of people, man. Like, I know Cam is known, he's known for, being Cam, but I mean, it's like this, I understand the beef with, Jim Jones, that's family. We always beef with family. They beef before. This ain't the first time. It ain't gonna be the last. They're gonna beef. They're gonna make up. They're gonna go out, do a song together, get on stage, perform together, and they'll be back to it. But it's the other beefs that's kind of, I noticed. I seen that he got in a beef with Omar Gooding, and Chad OchoCinco from Nightcap. There's a couple videos I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play just a couple audio, obviously for authentication purposes. I can't play the videos, but I do have the audio from with Omar Gooding. Well, first we're gonna do Cam's statement about Omar Gooding. Then we're gonna have Omar Gooding's respond to what Cam said, and then we're gonna play Cam's statement that he made about OchoCinco, and then OchoCinco's response to Cam. It just seems to me that it's a lot of unnecessary beef that's going on. So I'm gonna play those clips, those audios of those clips, and then we're gonna come back, and then I'm gonna give you my take on the other side after we play it. So here is Cam's response or Cam's statement, I apologize, to Omar Gooding, and then Cam's statement to OchoCinco, and then I'm gonna play Omar Gooding's response and then Chad OchoCinco's response. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll be back on the other side.
What happened is, I said Omar Gooding Jr. by accident, and he's like, I said his name wrong because it's Cuba Gooding Jr. He's not the junior, Cuba is. So he said I called him out his name, which, my bad. I y'all the brothers, I'm sorry. I said Omar Gooding Jr. So I called him out his name. So I went under his page when I seen it. I said, yo, bro, my bad. I don't want no smoke. Then he did a new song saying, yeah, you don't want no smoke, but you about to get it. Pause and did a whole nother song. And then I booked you, Omar Gooding, no junior. You was in one of my movies, and I paid you $7,500 for a month. So I was sitting there saying, damn, man, I caught the nigga for $75 for the month. Felt kind of bad about it. $7,500 for 3 weeks. And I'll let you star in the movie. I thought I overspent.
Good. Okay, so for people that need to get caught up, Cameron, the rapper, has now transcended rap, and he has a podcast. Because that's what, I guess that's the next evolutionary step. When you used to be a big-time rapper, you get you a podcast. So listen, it's called It Is What It Is. Self-explanatory. First of all, I did the records as a point. I made my point. Y'all know I spit. I got an album coming out. And if you want to book me in Chili's, Coco's, Pins, yeah, I'll do that too. Apparently, he ain't turning down nothing either. Where do you see the trailer for this movie? B movies, C movies, whatever, man. Stay poppin', my boy. West Coast.
I don't really fuck with Chad OchoCinco, to be totally honest with you. He all right, but at the end of the day, when we started this show, the nigga was hating from the very beginning. We started the show, we was doing very well, it was very successful. We didn't have no deal, no sponsors or nothing. We was doing this off the muscle. He comes out of nowhere talking about, yeah, I'm gonna get myself back together and I'm taking Cam's spot. Why the fuck you gotta take my spot, nigga? Fuck is you talking about? You been a football player your whole life, nigga. Now because I'm doing sports, you come and take my spot. And at that particular time, we had only been doing the show about 2.5 months, 3 months. But that's how much of an impact that I had that bitch ass nigga felt threatened. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, we try to call him. Shout out to my nigga Bub. My nigga Bub knows some niggas he know. I tried to give him a job. He like, yo, talk to my agent. I said, I'm talking to you now. What the I don't do business like that. I talk to my agent. See, you so dumb you can't even speak for yourself, stupid motherfucker. I tried to offer you more paper than you probably get now. Ask Mark Jackson how he got paid. Ask Mike Irvin how much he got paid. Ask them niggas if they was living lovely off the checks me and Murder was sending them niggas. Ask them. I bet you ain't getting paid the money that Mark Jackson and Mike Irvin got paid working with us. I don't know this for a fact, but ask Mike Irvin and ask Mark Jackson if they get paid lovely. And if I threaten niggas like you, this is why you going to do the shit you doing. Fucking telling Stephen A about getting your piece bigger? Yo, I don't like you, nigga. I don't like you. I don't like your con. Your whole style is bitch made, nigga, and I don't fuck with you. Try to give you a job, and then you go and suck the nigga Shannon off. Ooh, Shannon, why you go suck him off? For what? Pause. I came to you first. Oh, my agent handles anything. You dumb motherfucker. Your agent probably robbing you, probably not as much well off as you think, as niggas think you are. And if you still need a job, I ain't hiring no more. You better hope the nigga Shannon keep you with him, nigga. I don't like you.
Yeah.
Ocho, before we get into our first topic, something happened yesterday, and you wanted an opportunity to respond, so the floor is yours.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Cam has some stuff to say, and I had to think about it, and I had to listen to it and think about some stuff that was brought up from 2 years ago where I said, Cam, you my mans, and I'm coming for your spot. Now, I'm not sure how that's taken as hate when all you have to do is understand that I'm saying I'm coming for your spot because I see you as the standard that is setting the bar in that specific space. Mm-hmm. So you took that as an insult, which is weird to me. I'm not sure how you can do that. But if you check the numbers, what I said I was going to do, I've already done and surpassed that in this specific space. Now, he asked me to come join them, to do something with them. And I told him, okay, you got to check with my people. You got to reach out to my people who, when it was time for me to work with you, what did I ask you to do? Reach out to who?
I talked to Doug.
You talked to Doug. So boom, we did, like that. Right. That's the way I handle business. I don't run nothing through me. So I guess that was seen as a sign of disrespect because I chose to come over here with you. Boom. Okay. Now, we brought up the issue with he talking about money and bags and how much you pay guest feature, how much we pay our guest features. Buddy, I ain't no guest feature. Boy, I'm the main attraction. What is you talking about? I always been the main attraction. There's a difference. In your lane, you do what you do. I'm in completely different lanes and completely different rooms from you, despite me always playing around and joking. It's different. For one, you wouldn't have been able to afford me to begin with. Let's start there. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I think because I do everything in an entertaining, fun, laughing way, you kind of forget and don't really understand what's being done over here and how special what we have is. And that's no disrespect to them, because I like they show. I love It Is What It Is, because it's different than what we do. Mm-hmm. Their views, they got some high ones. But it's mainly about going at people and jigging at people, Over here, it's about having fun, entertaining, and the stories.
Yeah.
Completely different. Two different shows. I love them, though. Yeah. Then, Cam, he's a Harlem dude. I've been to Harlem. My face is clean in Harlem. Most of the time, those that I know from Harlem, they don't act like that. he getting a little emotional for nothing, especially about stuff.
That allegedly happened 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and it was a sign of respect because I see you as the standard of what it is to be the best at in this space.
Right.
Then the Stephen A thing. You talk about weird and I don't like you, don't like my vibes. Listen, for one, the whole world know I'm joking and trolling. It's a funny story that wasn't even true to begin with, and you took that serious. So then now you're getting personal with the words and the talking. I post my location where I'm at every day. What you tell me to stop doing? Stop catching rides from the airport, right?
Yep.
Everybody know where I am every single day, no matter what city I travel to. I'm outside all the time. If it was really an issue, or you really didn't like me, and it was a problem, I'm easy to find, especially in Miami. If I'm not mistaken, you be here. Y'all film here, if I'm not mistaken. I show everybody respect, I show everybody love. What's one problem that you've always gotten on me about doing a show like this? I don't do enough what? When it comes to talk about players.
Yeah, you don't critique enough.
I don't critique enough because I'm always showing love. I'm always showing respect no matter what. I never get out of line with nobody.
Right.
But the words that were displayed as if it's a personal issue. Now, if it's a personal issue, which I've never had with anybody because I always show everybody love and respect, I'm easy to find because I'm outside. Always. In Harlem, too. That's your stomping grounds, right? I be at Ricardo's all the time. Matter of fact, I'm going to be in New York Monday, and I'm going to be at Ricardo's at 5 o'clock, to be exact. But it's always love. No, never disrespect. And that's it. And I love you. And I love you. Unless you want to go another route.
Okay. So now you guys heard both men's response to Cam, and then you heard Cam's statement to both men. Let's tackle Omar's first. Let's tackle Omar's first because he felt as though that Cam disrespected him by calling him Omar Gooding Jr., which we all know that Omar is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, and he felt some type of way about that. So, I mean, I get it. You want people to respect you, and your name, you know, is everything, and I get why Omar feels the way he does, you know. But I mean, to do the diss records and all that, I mean, do I think it's a little much? Maybe, you know, but who am I? You know, I can't tell another man how to feel about somebody, you know, his level of disrespect. I can't say that. I can't tell that. So, you know, I mean, Omar responded the way that he responded, you know, and, you know, it is what it is, you know, but I just think, again, it was just one of those things that, you know, I mean, again, Omar, you know, he's got to understand his brother, you know, it was a mistake. I don't think Cam did anything malicious, calling him, you know, or, you know, I really truly think it was a mistake, but I think, you know, Omar also heard that Omar speaks on this a lot about people calling him Omar Gooding Jr., and I guess he kind of got fed up with it. So, you know, he decided to speak on it. And, you know, I don't think anything about that situation, you know, was malicious on Cam's part. Again, I don't know. I'm not in Cam's head, just like I'm not in Omar's head, so I can't speak on that. But, you know, we just got to, you know, hopefully both of these brothers will get it together. And, you know, I know they did a movie together, as you heard Cam talk about putting Omar on a movie. Now I will tell you this. You know, the $7,500 paying him for 3 days, or, you know, whatever it was, or 30 days, or whatever the case may be, that sounded like a dig at Omar, you know, but that's Cam. You know how Cam is. Cam's got that little pettiness in him. So, you know, that part, I can see where Omar felt this. But I like Omar's response, though, how he took it as a joke. You know, so, but then he came back with the diss song. So, you know what it is. You know, like I said, man, I just hope these brothers find a way to, you know, get over this, get past this, and, connect and make some more beautiful projects together. It'll be dope. So that's my take on Omar. Now, OchoCinco's a little bit deeper. OchoCinco is, in Cam Spaces, that issue is a little bit deeper because I do believe, and I'll probably get some, hate on this or whatever the case may be, but I'm just, like I said, this is candid, it's judgment free, this is just my take on it. I do believe that this podcast space that's here, I believe there's enough for all of us to eat. That's just how I believe. I mean, I don't think everybody, not everybody, believes the same thing I believe and whatever, but I just think that this space, there's enough for all of us to take a bite. Even, Unc said it, you know what I mean? Shannon Sharp, on Nightcap. There's enough for everybody to eat. This is a big enough piece of cake for everybody to get a slice. But, when some people start doing better than others, there's a little bit of that jealousy thing that comes up. And I mean, if, Cam felt as though that Ocho was coming at him when Ocho said, I'm coming for your spot or whatever it was he said. And, and I think Ocho meant it as a, hey, listen, man, this is where y'all at. We're coming from this. We're about to do this thing and we're coming for this, so, but I think Cam felt slighted because Ocho said, yo, you got to talk to my peoples. And because Ocho knew what he had that was getting ready to pop off with Unc, the Nightcap. So, he knew where it was going, where he was going, and he knew what he had, Unc, whenever Unc does something, he does it big. So he don't go halfway with the bullshit. So, I think, Ocho knew what he was getting himself into and he knew he was in a better space, and so, I think Cam felt slighted. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is just what I got from that. And from what, Cam said from his own words out of his mouth, and what Ocho said from his own words out of his mouth, he told him like, yo, he said, I offered him a job. He gonna tell me, you gotta call my peoples. And like Cam said, I'm talking to you right now. Well, listen, at the end of the day, Ocho knew where he was going, and he knew that this was a better spot for him, so you can't, I don't see how Cam could get mad at that, because, Cam was already doing, Cam and Mace was already doing their numbers, you know what I'm saying, by, with It Is What It Is. I believe that's what the podcast is called, It Is What It Is, and, Cam was already, so, Ocho and Unc, they wanted to do their own thing. So, and now Nightcap is blowing up. And because Cam, offered Ocho that spot, you know what I mean? And, Cam, I think, like I said, from what I'm gathering, it just looks like that, I ain't gonna lie, Cam, I'm sorry, bro, but it looks like you got a little hate in your blood, bro, because they're doing what you wanted Ocho to do on your podcast. That's just what I'm getting from it. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please let me know in the comments that I'm wrong, but that's just what I got. The way I feel about it anyway, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the way I feel about it is that there is enough space in this YouTube podcast vector that we can all eat and we can all be prosperous. See, the problem that I have with us as black people, black and brown people and colors, is that we spend so much time going at each other. You know what I'm saying? We spend so much time hating at each other. It's like that crab in the buckets mentality. We spend so much time hating on each other instead of building each other up and looking out for each other to be prosperous. You know what I mean? If we all got together and pulled all our talents together, do you realize the force we can be as a unit? And that's what white America, I hate to say it, but we do a lot of white America's work for. You know what I'm saying? Because we get at each other all the time and we tear each other down. You know what I mean? Instead of picking each other up. And I think that's my problem with all this. Even with the going back to the Omar Gooding thing, we spend so much time. Even Jim Jones, we spend so much time hating on each other. You know what I mean? We don't pull our resources or pool our resources together to become that Voltron, if you will. You know what I'm saying? That little piece here. If we take a little piece here, there, that, and that, and then, you know, we don't do enough of that. You know, and that's the problem. And we got to get past that, man, because we're already behind the gun. We're already behind the gun. They don't want us to win. They don't want us to win. You know, they get mad when we win. So can you imagine how happy they get when we get mad at each other for winning? You see what I'm saying? We got to stop that mentality. We got to stop that crab in the bucket mentality. You know what I mean? Because the more all of us win, the more we let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. The more we win, all of us win. Right? Rising tides move all boats. You know what I'm saying? So we have to keep that mentality that the more money one podcast makes, that's more money that another podcast makes, and they could come back. It's just it's circular, you know. And so we gotta think about that, man. You know what I'm saying? Even I'll go with All the Smoke podcast, man. I know there was a beef about that, you know, when with Steven Jackson, you know, talking about Shannon Sharp with the Cat Williams interview. Oh, I wouldn't have done that way and whatever. Man, you listen, brother did what he did and he made crazy numbers off that. You can't get mad at that. You should have bought Cat Williams on All the Smoke if that's how you felt. You know what I mean? Obviously, Cat has some shit he had to get off his chest. So y'all should have brought him. Y'all, and again, I could be wrong. Please, in the comments, correct me. But All the Smoke has been out before Shannon Sharp's joint, Club Shay Shay. You know, so Cat Williams has been there. He's been there. So that was an opportunity that somebody could have took advantage of, you know? But can't get mad at Shannon for taking advantage of that opportunity because it was there. So all I'm saying is, man, we got to start being happy for each other. Because if we don't look out for each other, who's going to look out for us? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just my thought on that topic. I hope, and I understand Cam did he issued a somewhat apology. I don't know how real it was or not, or how authentic it was or not, but I mean, he didn't issue an apology, but I don't think Ocho, as of right now, I don't think OchoCinco accepted that. So we're gonna, you know, I'll keep you updated on that. I'm sure y'all guys will see what's gonna happen with that. So, you know, we're gonna follow that up, you know, and see, like I said, I just hope all these brothers can come together, man, you know, and really take advantage of this YouTube space, because it's there to be taken advantage of, and there's a lot of money for us to get. So I just hope all these brothers, man, get together and make beautiful projects, continue to put out awesome content, and let's all get it, man, because it's there to be gotten. So that's my first topic on that, you know, and I'm gonna leave that there. But you know, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna come back, and then the second topic that I wanted to talk about, and this is something that's I really wanted to kind of dive deep into, because I've been noticing this quite a bit. So we're gonna get deep, which this is what this is all about. This space and this in Flames On is all about, is having these hard conversations that we need to have. So what I wanted to talk about next was my question that I have to the world, you know, and people watching this is the masculinity of the black man facing extinction. And I want to know this really from, I'm speaking to the women especially. I would like to get a woman's point of view on this if I can. So, ladies in the comments, would you please give me some feedback on that? But I really want to know, in your eyes, and men too, obviously, but I'm really interested to see what the women's take on this is the masculinity of black men facing extinction. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and then we're going to really dive into that. Okay. Welcome back to Flames On. So before we went to break, I posed a question to everyone, especially, the females, but men, you can answer too. Is the masculinity of the black man facing extinction? And I broached this subject, and I thought real hard about this topic when I wrote it, when I decided I wanted to talk about it, because I knew it was my first episode and I was going to come out swinging with some heavy things. So I really took the time to put my thoughts together and have a concise and precise thought of how I want to attack this particular subject. So I asked this question because I noticed, just from like anybody else watching TV, watching entertainment, watching the Grammys, or watching these award shows, or watching even in the NFL, just the way men are being presented these days, it's troublesome to me. It just is. I understand that we are living in a very woke society with the LGBTQ plus community, and again, with having family members that are really, really close to me, that are part of that community. This is not a slight on them, so let's be very clear on that. This is not a slight on them at all. But I just and you guys can understand where I'm coming from with this. Like, just looking at some of the men with the purses and the dresses and the skirts and the crop tops and it wasn't too long ago. It wasn't that long ago that if we were to wear something like that, there was just no way we would be able to wear something like that without the criticism and the ridicule coming at us the way that it would come. But I people can be who they are, and if this is your authentic self, I can respect that, but it's just, I believe that as men, as black men, we have it tough enough as it is. Just being who we are. Just like I said, being our authentic self, just being. We are running, we have enough of an uphill climb. And, putting the men in dresses, in movies or films, and men like I said, walking around showing up to the games in skirts and makeup and black, and it's just, women, how do, when you see a man, how do I want to phrase this without getting canceled on my first episode? Women, when you see a man dressed like that, if your man that you love came in dressed like that, how would you react? This is why I want to know from a woman's point of view. I know some men is gonna probably be obsessed with men, but from a woman's point of view, this is why this question was really posed for the women, because I want to know, the way I was raised was that a man is supposed to be strong, supposed to get his hands dirty, supposed to, provide and protect, and you know, there he has to be masculine at all times, which I don't agree with that, by the way, in some aspects. And that's gonna be another topic for another show that I'm gonna get on. But as for now, I'm gonna table that. But the way I was raised was that a man is supposed to be masculine at all times. But to see the men with the nails done, and hell, some of them got a better pedicure and manicure than most women out there. You know, I'm I want to know how women feel about this. Because to me, I gotta tell you, man, as a black man, like me and my fiance, we'll be watching something and she'll see a man, showing up to the game with, like I said, the crop top netted shirts and skirts and, high heel boots and walking with a purse, and it's like, okay, you guys consider that drip. I guess that's what that's called these days, drip. I mean, but me personally, just my thought, I just feel as though there's a way that you can convey your style without feminizing yourself as a man. Now if you are part of that community, the LGBTQ plus community, I get it. You that's what. But if you're not part of that community, and I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble for this, but if you're not part of that community, right? I'm just saying, it's hard enough, and even being part of that community, that's why I love my family members that are part of that community so much, because it's so courageous to be who you are, and knowing that you're going to deal with the ridicule and you're going to deal with the kickback. It's less now, more because everybody is so woke and, they're scared to, upset that community. And, but this is not about upsetting. This is about just speaking to where we are as black men in today's society. That's where I'm wondering. This is where my feeling about this is coming from. Is because I want to know where we are as men, black men in this society. I just feel as though it's hard for a woman to feel safe and protected by her man if he's wearing more feminine clothes than she is. And my fiance has said this to me. She said, you cannot, I would not, as a man, I could not respect you as a man if you showed up dressed like that. It's like, so I wanted to know, as women, do you all feel that way? Or is she in, the minority? It was just something, because that made me think, when she said that to me, that made me really sit back and think and say, wow, is the masculinity of the black man facing extinction? Is this the norm now for men to dress more feminine than our women? So again, touchy subject. I know I'm gonna get some backlash on it. I'm expecting to get some backlash on it. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody in any way. I don't mean no disrespect to anybody in the LGBTQ plus community. Like I said, I have family members that are part of that community that are extraordinarily close to me. Really, really close to me. Without getting into my family history, but so this is not a hatred towards you guys or anything like that. Please, I want everyone to be their authentic self. I don't want nobody to feel as though they have to conform or be somebody that they're not. Conform to society's way of thinking or be somebody they're not. I'm not asking anyone to do that. But all I'm asking, as from women mostly, do you feel, would you feel protected? Would you feel um would you feel, how can I put this? If your man dressed more feminine than you, would you respect them? Please, I want to know. This is something that has really been, that I've been really wanting to touch on, and I notice a lot of people haven't touched on. And if they did touch on it, it was coming from a place of ridicule. This is coming from a place of sheer curiosity. Just how I want a woman's perspective on this. So, ladies, please, again, I would like to hear your response in the comments. Just because, like I said, it was something that my fiance said to me that that made me just have to broach this topic. So I look forward to your comments. I can't wait to see. I know I'm gonna get backlash, so I can't wait to hear that either. So hear that too. So yeah, please. I really I want men. Like I said, men. I don't mean to isolate you either, you guys. But I really want to know what women think on this. So, ladies, please, again, get at me in the comments. Let me know what you think on that. And with that, we're gonna take our final break from the first episode, and then we're gonna come back with something that I'm gonna be doing. Every episode is where we do something a little, what's the word I'm looking for here? We're going to be doing a little segment, there you go, segment called Truth Serum, where it's unbridled, unfiltered, we talk about everything. And today's Truth Serum is going to be, what do women expect from us as their man, and what do we expect from women as our ladies? So this is going to be another topic that I know is going to be kind of heavy. So yeah, when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to jump into the Truth Serum of the day. Okay. Welcome back to Flames On. So before we went on break, I wanted to talk about today's Truth Serum, which is, what do we expect from our women, and what do our women expect from us as men? So the reason why I wanted to broach this topic as our first Truth Serum is because I see a lot of posts on social media about women asking, where are the good men at? Where's all, why can't I find a good man? And vice versa. Men, where's the good women at? Why can't I find a loyal woman? This is going to be a hot button topic, but my answer to that is, we're here. We've always been here. It's just that some of us don't respect it when we have it. You got women, when you guys get a good man, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it's too good to be true, that you believe in them, but when you get a good man, you don't know how to treat them. And same thing with men. You get a good woman, you don't know how to treat them. And then, you're broached with that question of, well, what do you expect from me? Or what I expect from my woman. This is just me, keeping it on the eye. What I expect from my woman is loyalty, respect, love, and most importantly, to keep me happy and stress-free. Those 5 things. Make me laugh and keep me stress-free. That's what I want. That's what I want from my woman. Everybody has a different criteria, so what my wants are might not be what your wants are, and vice versa. But I do believe that if you treat a woman the way she wants to be treated, in most cases, you will get that same treatment from your woman. I'm not saying that it's gonna, because there is those cases out there where you do everything you could possibly do to make a woman happy, and unfortunately, it's just not in the cards. She's just, and same thing with a man. You know, with a woman and their man, you can do everything. You could be the best woman. You can be, you know, A1 primo wifey extraordinaire, and that man will still find a reason to go out and cheat and treat you like trash, and you know, things of that nature. So what brought to mind, what came up with, the reason why I came up with this particular topic is because there was something, it was about the Papoose and Remy Ma situation. Now, I don't know what happened. Only they know what happened behind closed doors, and you know what happened in their bedrooms or whatever the case may be. That is not our business. But you know, but all intents and purposes and all accounts, from what you read, Papoose he held Remy down. He was there for her when she went to prison. You know, he was the quintessential great man for a woman. And for, you know, Remy to come and do what she did, which we all know now, you know, cheating on him with Easy the Block Captain, and you know, now Remy is with Papoose is with Clarissa Shields, you know, women's champion, by the way. But it thinking about that whole situation made me question, what do we expect from our women? And women, what do you expect from your man? Because if we do everything you ask us to do, we provide, we protect, we are loyal, we don't lie, we don't deceive, we don't, you know, we do everything. We treat you like the only woman on this planet for us because you are. And when we do that, and you still step out, my question to you is, what do you expect from me then? If I did all these things, stood 10 toes down, held you down, unquestionably, unequivocally, I did everything I can possibly do to make you the happiest woman on the face of this earth. Excuse me, man. Wow. Make you the happiest woman on the face of this earth. What more could I have done to make you not stray? And let's switch the question from a woman's perspective to her man. If she held you down, did everything a woman was supposed to do, and yet you still strayed, what more did you expect from that woman to do? You got the perfect woman at home. Why go out for hot dogs when you got prime rib at home? I just don't and don't get me wrong, I'm not a saint. I made my mistakes in the past, and I have to live with that. And I have lived with that, but I've learned from those mistakes. And this was a question that I had to ask myself, was what more could she have done to keep me at home instead of going out being a knucklehead and being a piece of crap? Husband, you know, father, provider, whatever. What more could she have done? So, I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, it you know, the whole Remy Ma and Papoose things, it just conjured up things like that. Like, what do you guys want? And again, these are questions for the comments. What do you truly expect for a man, from your man, ladies? What do you truly expect from your man if he's doing everything he possibly can and he's holding up his end of the bargain? He is making sure you don't need or want for anything. He is making sure that all your needs are being met. Well, they should be being met. You know what I mean? Because obviously there is something that's missing that's making you go astray. And men too, there's something that's missing that it's just something that's not fully clicking, that's making you stray away. So again, ladies, I just want to know what that is. Men, I want to know what that is. Because the way I feel is when women and men are going on social media and they're asking, where's all the good men? Where's all the good women? Why can't I find a good man? Or why can't I find a good woman? Right? The question should be not where can I find a good man or where can I find a good woman. The question should be, what do I do to make sure I can hold on to my good man and hold on to my good woman when I find one? That's the question we need to be asking. What is everything I can do to keep my man or my woman happy when I do find that good man or good woman? So I'm not on Facebook or social media or TikTok or X or whatever the case may be asking that question. Because when you finally do get that one, and that one, shows you that there is good men and women out there and there is true love out there, you know what I mean? And you have it. You got to hold on to that, ladies and gentlemen. You got to hold on to that. You cannot look back with regrets, wondering why I can't find love or why can't love find me. It's because we can't be scared to love. We cannot be scared to give our heart to a person that earned that. If you're with somebody for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, if you're with somebody for a significant amount of time, that person, you fell in love with that person for a reason. You gave your heart and trust to that person for a reason. So they earned that. So you got to hold on and remember that when you're starting to step out and you're starting to have these thoughts to where you want to stray to, because you wonder, asking yourself, well, maybe that looks better. Things might look better on the other side over there. The grasses might be a little bit greener. But you got to ask yourself, before you react or those thoughts start creeping in your mind, and when they do start creeping up in your mind, you got to then recalibrate and say, wait a minute. Why did I give my heart to this person in the first place? Why did I fall in love with this person in the first place? There is a reason. Because, every time you stray, you're starting all over. You don't know what that person's intentions are. You don't know what they're after. You don't know that person intimately like you know the person that you build your foundation with. So you're taking a chance every time instead of going what you know and what you accumulated. So my question again to women, men, what do you expect from us, women as men, and men, what do you expect from your woman? Especially when they're already giving you everything you can ask for and then some. Just something to think about. Now another, just a little tidbit, that's just me. But I just want to thank you guys. for making this a wonderful, awesome show. Thank you for listening. Like I said, there are going to be more and more coming every week. We're going to be coming with more and more content, and we're going to be, this is a space, man. Like I said, this is a space for you guys to talk about whatever you want. Any questions you have, any topics you guys want to talk about, I'm with it. There's nothing off limits. As long as YouTube and social media lets me rock, or whatever you guys want to talk about. If you guys want to throw some topics my way that you feel as though you want to talk about, like I said, this is a safe space for everyone, anyone. Men, listen, again, I'm just going to touch on next week's show. One of the topics that I want to talk about, another deep topic. Men, to my fellas now, understand, kings, this is a space for you to come to get whatever you want off your chest without being judged. Okay? You guys can talk about whatever you want. We can discuss, we can converse on whatever you want to talk about without feeling though you're going to come across weak or soft. Nah, bro, you're not going to get that here. This is your platform for y'all to get whatever you want to get off your chest. So, we're going to dive into that on my next show. So, yeah, man, like I said, please, guys, help us grow. Like and subscribe. I promise you, like I said, your appreciation would be unmeasured. We can really build this as a space for people to freely come and be their authentic self. So, again, my name is Flames. This is Flames On. You guys have a blessed night. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a good night.